नमस्ते दोस्तों, वेलकम टू RSSDI Diabetes Bytes। आज हम शुक्रवार के बाद मिल रहे हैं, लेकिन हमारे साथ है एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग या रोमांचक हस्ती जो आज हमें बहुत ही आसान तरीके से बताने वाले हैं कि एक्सरसाइज कैसे की जा सकती है और कितनी आसान हो सकती है। जिनको एक्सरसाइज अच्छी लगती है वो तो कर ही लेते हैं, उनके लिए कोई दिक्कत नहीं। लेकिन कई सारे लोग ऐसे हैं जिनको पसंद नहीं है और कई सारे ऐसे भी हैं, खासकर जिनको डायबिटीज है, जो ये समझते हैं कि नहीं, कहीं एक्सरसाइज की और लो शुगर हो गई या हम नहीं कर पाएंगे या कुछ और हो जाएगा, तो हम खाली वॉकिंग करें या और कुछ नहीं करें तो ही ठीक है। तो आज हम ये सब मिथ्याएं जो है हमारी, वो सब हम मिटाने वाले हैं फ्रॉम नन अदर देन साहिल ओम मदान। He's a very dynamic person and वो RSSDI के KOL रह चुके हैं, की ओपिनियन लीडर।
Hello. Hi, Dr. Purvi. I think
I'm so sorry, yeah, I just got disconnected. Are we live? Yeah, we are. Okay, so I'm sorry I got disconnected, but the point is कि आज today, we have so many questions. Our patients keep asking us all the time. Just saying कि exercise कीजिए is not enough, but to actually explain कि क्या करना है, किस तरह करना है, और ब्लड शुगर्स स्पेशली टाइप 1 डायबिटीज के बच्चों या एडल्ट्स में किस तरह से मैनेज करनी है, एक्सरसाइज के पहले, एक्सरसाइज के दौरान और उसके बाद, ये सभी चीजों की बातचीत होगी आज हमारे खास दोस्त RSSDI के की ओपिनियन लीडर साहिल ओम मदान से। तो मैं बता रही थी कि हमने टाइप 1 डायबिटीज की चर्चा हो रही थी, सीरीज चल रही थी, तभी भी इनवाइट किया था और बहुत अच्छी तरह बातें हुई थी तभी भी, और हमने बहुत सीखा था उनसे। तो आज भी यही है अपना प्रयत्न कि हम अच्छी तरह डिटेल में बातचीत कर सके एक्सरसाइज के बारे में, जिनके लिए वो बहुत पैशनेट है और वो काफी नॉलेजेबल भी है। So, just to formally introduce Sahil, he is a certified diabetes educator and India's first personal fitness trainer specializing in type 1 diabetes. As a type 1 diabetic himself since 2011, Sahil has dedicated his time in providing fitness solutions to individuals living with type 1 diabetes. And to fuel his passion, he conceptualized and founded Fused Training, India's first type 1 diabetes health management startup. Fused Training is now a part of Fable Care. So without much ado, let me welcome Sahil and ask him what his plan is for today.
Hi, Dr. Purvi. Thank you so much for the kind introduction and inviting me here. Thanks to you and the entire RSSDI team for actually putting this information and making people aware about, that exercises or physical activity can be actually done with diabetes. And I am always excited to come on the RSSDI platform, share the information, learn from all the doctors, and I am always excited to be around doctors and people in RSSDI in general as well.
Great. Welcome once again. And yes, I think a lot of our type 1 people always are afraid. Even if they are not afraid, the family members are afraid कि नहीं नहीं कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है एक्सरसाइज करने की क्योंकि फिर कुछ हो गया ब्लड शुगर्स को कम हो गई या इंसुलिन ज़्यादा हो गया या अकेले जाएंगे तो उधर कुछ हो गया तो क्या करेंगे. So, there are so many nuances around exercise and so many myths that, I'm sure people with diabetes today will really benefit from your experience and knowledge. So, yes, go for it, Sahil. The stage is all yours. What are you going
Thank
to
you so
start
much.
with?
So, today's session we will actually divide into three parts. First will be I'll discuss few things about what things to actually take care of when we are actually planning to start exercise, whether it's type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes, how to manage your medication, how to, monitor blood sugar levels, and then, discuss that with your doctor to adjust insulin as well, which type of activity to choose. So first section will be that, and second will be a slight stretching and warm up for people, especially who have desk jobs, which they can just do in a 2 or 5 minutes break while just sitting at their work desk. And third will be some basic full body movements that we can easily do at home, just to stay active and build a healthy lifestyle. So I'll start with very basic things, in which actually there are different people and people like to do different activities as well. Not everybody will be interested in doing weightlifting, not everybody will run, so we have to always choose according to what we like as well. Of course, the results are also a bit different, but the first thing that we have to consider is what is our goal and also what we are interested in. Can we go to the first slide? Yeah, the second one. Yes. So the first important point in this is how to choose a physical activity or fitness regime. And that is the most difficult question for most of us because we don't know where to start, like you mentioned. We know we have to exercise, but because of different issues, we can't. But there are actually two specific things in this, which is the first is called GPP, which is General Physical Preparedness, and SPP, which is Sports Specific Preparedness. So if you want to start activity just to stay healthy, just to stay active, and just do the normal things in your lifestyle, then you are actually going for general physical preparedness, which prepares you, जो आपको basically तैयार करता है to do regular activities. अपने ऑफिस तक जाना, घर के काम करना. For that also we need some amount of fitness levels. So that is what is called general physical preparedness. While if we come to the second part, which is called sports specific, that is for people who are going for some specific sports, like if they want to go for marathon or running, or they want to choose weightlifting, or they want to do MMA or boxing. So those people will actually require some kind of skills as well, which they can use in the sport. So they need to learn sports specific exercises. But as this is the platform basically for beginners and to learn how to just maintain a healthy lifestyle, we will today focus on general physical preparedness. But when you go out and you want to choose how to start training, these are the two things we can actually focus on and choose our activities accordingly. Now coming on to for people living with type 1 diabetes, apart from choosing the exercises, there are a lot of questions around exercise. Like you mentioned that, okay, whether to how to adjust insulin, what to eat, what blood sugars, how to maintain blood sugar levels around it as well. There are few very basic things that we need to understand when we are doing any activity, whether it's running, whether it's any form of exercise. You have to always start with monitoring blood sugar levels. If we have all that pattern, then only we will be able to understand how that physical activity is impacting our body. And the reason for that is because different activities impact our blood sugar levels very differently. So if I ask you to go running for 5 kilometers, your blood sugars will behave in a different way. Or if I ask for 2 kilometer run, or I ask for weightlifting, the blood sugar pattern will be very different because of the intensity, duration, and a lot of other factors. So we need to start monitoring, and I have mentioned three things here, three to 4 points here basically, which will determine your blood sugar levels during exercise. And it starts with pre-workout blood glucose levels and the meal. So if we plan to exercise, for example, in the evening, then it is very important to understand that how much insulin we have taken in the lunch or what we have also ate in the lunch or the evening snack. So we need to monitor that, and that is the first point. And the second point is the onboard insulin, because if we are injecting insulin continuously, or we are using a pump, or we are using insulin pens, we need to adjust and see कि when we are going to exercise तब हमारी बॉडी के अंदर इंसुलिन कितना है. सो अगर इंसुलिन बहुत ज्यादा होगा, देर आर चांसेस कि हम थोड़ी सी एक्टिविटी करने के बाद ही हमारी ब्लड शुगर्स ड्रॉप हो जाएंगी. अगर इंसुलिन बिल्कुल भी नहीं होगा, देर आर चांसेस दैट हमारी ब्लड शुगर स्पाइक हो जाएगी. सो ऑन बोर्ड इंसुलिन, एक्सरसाइज के टाइम कितना इंसुलिन हमारी बॉडी के अंदर, दैट इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर. एंड देन coming on to the exercise parameters, which is what type of training we are doing, what is the volume of training and intensity. Volume means हम कितने rounds कर रहे हैं, हम कितने repetitions कर रहे हैं, कितने टाइम के लिए हम एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हैं, whether we are doing it for 10 minutes, 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and of course उसकी इंटेंसिटी क्या है. So ये 3-4 पैरामीटर्स हैं which actually determine or help us plan to predict our blood sugar levels, and uske according we can adjust a lot of things.
So Sahil, let me ask you, when you started off, when you were diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and then you started off, with your passion for exercise, what was the one thing that, you faced as an obstacle, and how did you overcome that?
So when I got diagnosed, this was 2011. So it's been more than 11 years living with type 1 diabetes. And before my diagnosis, I was a very active kid. I was 20. I was playing different sports, but I was never very active in terms of fitness. So I was not going to the gym, or I was not really exercising much. So that was one of my, the difficulties that I faced after getting diagnosed, was how to maintain my blood sugar levels while playing sports as well. So that was the initial problem that I specifically faced, that okay, if I'm going to play cricket for 5 hours or 2 hours, I don't know how my sugars will behave. So but as this was 2011 and we had very limited resources to understand about diabetes and exercise, slowly I implemented what I knew at that time. But later, of course, getting certified, getting the education in diabetes management, and as a fitness coach as well, all those things helped. Of course, those were all technical things that helped. But before that, when I didn't know anything, which a lot of type 1s could relate, I think monitoring my blood sugar levels continuously helped me a lot. Because what I used to do was, and this was 7-8 years back, when there was no CGM as well. So we had to prick all the time and see with the glucometer. So I was actually checking 10 to 12 times every day to see the pattern कि अगर मैं आधा किलोमीटर वॉक कर रहा हूँ, वो how my blood sugar is changing, और अगर मैं बॉडी वेट एक्सरसाइज कर रहा हूँ तो मेरा शुगर्स कैसे बिहेव हो रहा है. सो दैट गेव मी आइडिया कि अच्छा मेरी बॉडी के हिसाब से अगर मैं कुछ एक्सरसाइज करता हूँ तो उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या होता है, which was my, as a layman, was very interesting to learn.
Very, very valid point. And I think I want to stress that point once again to all who are living with diabetes, that I think Sahil, he just said it. Knowing is power, and the more you know about your blood sugars and how they vary in terms of the food intake, or how they vary in response to exercise, is knowing that is power. So, and then everything is under your control. So just like him, he's been checking his sugars. At that time, he was checking it up to 12 to 14 times a day, and I think that's very, very impressive. He almost did a manual CGM, or continuous glucose monitoring.
Right.
Very impressive. So yes, and that has helped Sahil, and I hope all of you will also learn from that. That yes, making that extra effort to monitor sugars even more rigorously is going to definitely give you that information, that power, and that know-how about how your sugars vary with response to food intake as well as physical activity or exercise. Go ahead, Sahil.
Yeah. Can we move to the slides? Third slide, please. Yeah. Also, this is a very common myth that a lot of T1s or people with type 2 also have, that all the exercise actually drop their blood sugar levels, which is not true. So if we are going for very low intensity, low duration exercises or high duration, but very low intensity, like slow walk, right? Then there are chances that your blood sugars will drop, also depending on what is your current level of blood sugar levels as well. But if we go for very high impact exercise, very intense exercises like heavy weight lifting, right, which has a lot of stress factors involved, there are a lot more chances that your blood sugar levels will actually spike. And the very most common example of this is when we actually go for weightlifting in the gym and we are trying to lift heavy weights, the sugars are spiked during the workout. So this is one common myth that we need to understand, that not every exercise will drop our blood sugar levels. Depending on the duration, the intensity, this will change. Next slide.
So if we just take a minute just to
Yeah,
further think about it, I think the point is that you can discuss the kind of workout that you're considering with your doctor, and can take some advice on to how much to check, how many times to check your sugar, and what precautions to take before you start. And of course, it's always a good idea to get sort of a clearance for exercise from your doctor as well. Go
absolutely.
ahead.
So this is again like when we try to plan or make a training plan for people living with type 1 diabetes, it's very important that we have to ask the doctor or their team which they are consulting to understand if they are actually fit for these exercises or not, because a lot of times there can be other complications with diabetes as well. So in those complications, it is of course not recommended to exercise, but it is always good to check. And it's always a combination of the doctor's advice and guidance plus the training plan that is given by their fitness trainer. So it's a combination, and if both understand that, okay, the fitness trainer also understands that they have to get their insulin adjustment done from the doctor, this becomes easy. Otherwise, there will be a lot of fluctuations also in their blood sugar levels. So this is sorry. Can I see the slides again? Yeah. So this is just a very basic example of how our blood sugars are moving and how we start the exercise as well. Can we go to the previous slide? Yeah. So as this says, while exercising with diabetes, we must understand the duration and intensity of the exercise and then adjust the insulin accordingly. So here we have actually divided the exercises in aerobic and anaerobic. So aerobic exercises basically when in layman terms it is called cardio, and that impacts your blood sugars to drop when you engage in that physical activity, while anaerobic, which is high intensity, like I mentioned before as well, it might spike your blood sugar levels as well. So these are the two major differences when you start planning your exercise according to the duration and intensity. You will see that difference. Other factors which actually impact is, like I mentioned earlier as well, it is your pre-exercise blood sugar levels and the food that you have eaten. So that will also impact your blood sugar levels while exercising. And it is also not recommended to exercise if your blood sugars are less than 100 or they are above 220 or 250, because then if your sugars are on the lower side, it can drop a lot more as well, and if they are high, they can spike up as well. So you need to see that you are in the range, in a good range to start it, and that will depend on the duration and intensity. Can we move to the next slide? Yeah. So this is just a basic depiction of that. If the blood sugars are low than 100 mg per dl or 5.6, then it's better to correct them, eat something, and when they are in range, then you start your then you start your exercise. And if they are between 100 to 200, you can start, but again you need to monitor during the exercise as well if they are dropping or spiking as well. But if they are strictly above 220 or 250, it's better you take your correction dose as suggested by your doctor. Wait till the time your blood sugar levels are in range and then start the exercise. A very good example of what I always do for myself is that if I have to exercise at 7 p.m., for example, I always check my blood sugar levels at 6 p.m., so 1 hour prior to the exercise, so that if my blood sugar levels are not in range, I can actually have the time to correct them. So if I need to take insulin, I'll take insulin. If I need to eat, I will eat as well, so that till the time I start my exercise, my blood sugar levels and my energy is good to go.
Thank you, Sahil, for sharing that tip with our audience. I think it was very important because we keep telling them that, check it before exercising. But yes, like you said, if you check an hour before, there is enough time to equilibrate, whether it's high or low, you can get it to a comfortable level to start the exercise. So yes, definitely leave that hour or, even 45 minutes before you start the workout.
Yes. So these were the basic that I wanted to share. When we are planning, when anyone with T1 is planning to start the exercise, of course, they need to consult with their fitness coach, with their doctor, how they should start as well. It is also important not to overtrain. A lot of people, when they start exercising, because they are excited to, start this journey, it is always important to start slow, see how that is impacting the blood sugar levels for the first few weeks, and then of course you can always level up your fitness plan accordingly. But don't start overtraining. Don't train 2 hours per day in the start. Of course, when you are at a level and you are actually practicing that much, then you can do that. And a very important aspect with exercising is the nutrition as well. There is no point in exercising if your nutrition is also not on point.
Good. Once again, I think that coming back to basics, that the right snack to be eaten, the right amount of protein, and the right amount of interval between insulin and the meal and exercise is also very important. So let's keep that in mind, as Sahil has said. So I'm very excited, Sahil. You told me you're going to show us some exercises today in the session.
Yes. So before actually we move to those exercises, we'll do some chair movements and stretches that you can follow with me as well. We just have to sit. And this is very important, especially for people who are doing desk jobs and they are sitting and they're doing work from home. Uh, this you can actually do in the break of 2 to 5 minutes, after 2 hours or 3 hours during your day as well, which will actually help, in just your body will not be stiff. You will feel better. There will be no pain as well in the joints also. So I'll just show and guide you, and we can just sit and do those movements first. So the first movement is basically when we do a lot of work on the screens, our neck starts hurting. So these are few neck movements that we can do. The important part when we are actually doing neck movements is that we don't have to push the movement. We just have to go. So the first is basically taking the neck all the way down and back. So we don't have to push this, but just to go down and back.
Oh, I can feel a good stretch in the neck.
Yes, so this is the first. these all repetitions we can do 10 to 20 repetitions. So if so the next movement, which is left and right, so you see in the left, 1 2 3 4. Yeah, so this has to be slightly slow so that you don't stress your neck too much, because when we are working on the screen it is quite stiff and our shoulders are stressed as well. And the third movement for neck is to tilt on the sides. So this is 1 2 3 4. So these are 3 neck movements that anyone can do sitting, working as well. And yes, Dr. Purvi.
No, I was just going to say, audience, I hope you all are doing this while watching Diabetes Bytes. Sitting is the new smoking, and let's realize that yes, most of us are trapped in desk jobs, and these are very important stretches, and it helps to maintain the posture and helps in the long term to retain that flexibility and muscle strength as well. So definitely do them. It has a minimal impact on the blood sugars as well. Go ahead,
Right.
Sahil.
So these repetitions will hardly impact your blood sugar levels because it is almost negligible intensity. So the next is basically to lift your arm. You can see my diabetes device as well. Uh, Straight up in your arm, and then you have to putting your hand on your elbow and pushing it towards your neck, and hold it for 10 to 20 seconds. And same goes for the other arm. Keep it straight and then push it. This all you can do while sitting on the chair. And the same for your arms. Again, you have to take your hands up, hold one elbow, and pull it behind your neck. Yes. So we have to do one at a time. So if I'm doing for my right hand, I'll just take and put my hand on the elbow and pull it inside. Yeah. So this is the second one. Then what we can do is basically to shrug our shoulders. So when we are sitting, we have to take our shoulders all the way up and then slowly down. All the way up and slowly down. Try, Dr. Purvi. Also, these movements will improve as well. Yeah.
Even simple stretches like this, can really refresh you, and you feel energized.
Absolutely. And this makes a lot of difference when you do it on regular basis. You will see a lot of change even by doing it 5 to 10 minutes per day as well. Okay. So this is our last chair stretch. So what we need to now do is basically to rotate our upper body. So what we need to do is we keep sitting, but we need to see on the back side, we hold the chair and move our upper body on the back and hold this position for 10 to 20 seconds and slowly come back, and then on the other side as well. So these are very few movements that sorry.
That's wonderful.
Thank you. So and of course there are a lot more exercises as well that we can do on our desk as well, but this is a very good start that we need to do at least for 2 to 5 minutes, and this can be done easily in 5 minutes.
Absolutely. Next, I think very well demonstrated.
थैंक यू
बहुत ही आसान एक्सरसाइजेस थी ये। आप कभी भी कहीं भी कर सकते हैं। इसके लिए ना कोई इक्विपमेंट की जरूरत है, ना कोई और मौका देखने की जरूरत है। ये आप कहीं भी कर सकते हैं। So I think that was a great tip. Let's move on.
Yes. So this was specifically when you are sitting and doing things at your desk. Now, of course, I understand a lot of T1s. There are a lot of young adults. There are a lot of teenagers who want to, of course, improve their fitness levels, uh, and which actually doesn't require going to a gym or going outside. If they can go, it's great. But we can actually improve our fitness levels at our home without any equipment as well. So I'll demonstrate few exercise without any equipment by just using my body weight and working on all the muscles, entire body. I just moved to my home gym so that you guys can see me properly. Just give me a minute.
Can't wait. मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया था कि he is going to make exercise really simple and exciting for us. So all those who fear exercising, especially when living with type 1 diabetes, do not fear it. Go about it in a more organized manner. Discuss it with your doctor. Monitor your sugars regularly. Eat the right snack before exercising, and post that also or during, and choose the right kind of workout for you, and be consistent and regular. So we are waiting for Sahil to log in. Yes, there he is. And tell us how you feel about this episode, because I'm just loving it that he's actually demonstrating the exercises that we can easily do. And I think उससे बहुत confidence आता है, बहुत हिम्मत बढ़ती है अपनी भी कि हम कर पाएंगे. तो I think साहिल को खास धन्यवाद ये चीज के लिए. एंड आई एम श्योर वो आपको बहुत प्रोत्साहित कर रहा है कि आप भी इसे अपनी जीवन शैली में अच्छी तरह अपना सके. यस साहिल, वी कैन सी
Hello,
योर
Tiffany.
जिम.
Yes. So this is a small space in my house where I exercise. I go out as well, but this is when I can't go out. I just start few things here as well. So I'll show you again. It's very important when we exercise that to involve to engage all the body muscles. It is very important, which we can easily do at home. So I'll start with very basic movements. I hope you can see me completely. Is this
Yes,
good?
we can. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So the first movement is called inchworms. So what we need to do is we stand straight and we need to bend forward, keep our hands on the floor just in front of our feet and go ahead. And then come back and all the way up. So this is called inchworm. So we can do repetitions of this, which will engage our upper body as well and our lower body as well. It is always recommended that when we start any exercise, start very slow, do for 10 to 15 minutes per day, then 30 minutes, and then you can increase according to your recovery and nutrition as well. So this is the first exercise, doesn't require any equipment. Then the second one would be again focusing now more on the lower body. We call this squats. So what we need to basically do is, and we unintentionally do a lot of squatting when we are doing household work or in our daily life as well. So squatting is basically just sitting down and up. But how we need to do it so that we are not injured, there are few tips that I'll share. So the first thing is you need to see your stance, which is your feet distance. So in the first go, just keep it comfortable outside your hip width. So this is the hip width. You need to keep the feet outside your hip width and slowly keeping your chest up, hands forward and looking in the front. You just try to go as deep as possible. So there will be different people and there will be different depths. Few people might stop here, Few people might go more down, but it will depend on their mobility as well. So in the start, till wherever you go, just go down and get up. So you can do a lot of repetitions of this as well. 2, all the way up, 3, all the way up. So again, this can be done in repetitions of 10 for 2 to 3 rounds to start with. Now, all these exercises again are not very intense, but they are at a very initial stage, which might impact your blood sugar levels. So you need to see your blood sugar levels before and then decide on to the intensity accordingly. So this was squats. Next, so this was also focusing more on the lower body. Now we go for the upper body. So we go on the floor. These are called push-ups. And depending on the strength of your body as well, you can choose which type of push-up you want to do. So this one is actually for beginners, which we call knee push-ups. So what we do is, from the floor, we have to get up, but on our knees, not on our feet. Go all the way down, and by keeping our hands on the side of our chest, we have to push the floor and lock our elbows. Elbows बिल्कुल सीधी करनी है हमें और अपने knees पे आना है. So this is 1 repetition. पूरा नीचे जाना है हमें. 2. पूरा नीचे जाना है. 3. So again, this we can repeat for 2 to 3 rounds, and we can do 8 to 10 or 12 reps as well. Now, for people who are intermediate or they are in the advanced stages, what they can do is they can do a normal push-up, which you go on the feet. Now, I'm not using my knees. Again, go all the way down and up. So we can increase the intensity and difficulty as well. There are much more advanced push-ups than this as well, but that will depend on how you want to progress as well. So
Great.
this was, yes, Dr. Pubi, this was mostly for upper body. Yeah.
And also partly the core.
Yes. So core actually is used in most of the exercises that we do, whether it was squat, whether it was push-up. Our stomach, our core, abdominal is used in every exercise. And of course, when we are doing push-ups, partially our feet are also engaged.
Yes.
But we generally say that the primary working muscles, सबसे ज़्यादा basically effect कहाँ पे आ रहा था. So that is how it is said. So moving from the push-ups to, so you talked more about core. We will do one major core exercise, which is called plank. So what is a plank? A plank is basically from this push-up position. If you see here, now my hands, my palms are on the floor. From here, I'll go on my forearms like this. And again, I will be on my feet, maintaining this posture, complete straight. I have to also pull my belly, stomach in, so that there is a constant pressure, constant engagement of the core. And we have to hold this for as much time as possible. So this is called plank. There are different forms of plank as well, but this is the easiest that you can start with, and you can try it for 2 to 3 times and hold it for maximum time, whether it's 20 seconds, 40 seconds, or 1 minute. So you can give it a try for 3 times and then move to the next exercise. Okay, again, one very important exercise, which is called hip thrust, because when we are sitting in our office, in the car, we are actually sitting a lot of time, right? So our hip joint is actually very stiff. So this is an exercise that is very important. So what we need to do is, we need to go on the floor, on the back, and keep our feet up. Dr. Purvi, can you see me? Okay.
Yes, I can see you.
Okay. So from here, basically we have to be on our feet, keep our upper body on the floor completely, our hands on the side. This is the starting position. Just make sure that your feet are completely on the floor. अपने heels या फिर आपको toes पर नहीं जाना. It has to be completely on the floor. And then from here, we have to push with our feet and push the hips up. So from here, this movement. So now my legs, my back, and hips are in the same line. Then I'll go all the way down and up. So this actually engages the hip muscles and your legs as well, which is very important for the hip joint. And so this was again, if we have dumbbells at home, we can add dumbbells also in our exercises, but these all can be done without weights. So we don't need any weights for these. The last exercise that I'll show is one of my favorite. It is called burpees. So what we need to do is in burpees, basically, we have to again, this is the starting position. We have to start by jumping up, then putting our hands on the floor, jumping back, going on the floor, getting up again, jump, straight. So it is basically nothing but going from a standing position to a horizontal lying position on the floor. I'll show it again one more time. So jump, hands on the floor, jump back, on the floor, up, jump, and stand. So if you do it in this speed, it will look like this. 2, 3. So this is again, we can add as much rounds as we want, but it's good to start with 2 to 3 rounds of 8 to 10 repetitions. So
it's very interesting. This is very similar to the Surya Namaskar that is,
right.
one of the basic asanas in yoga. And I think this is so similar, but just to share with the audience that burpees are a physical exercise consisting of a squat thrust made from and ending in a standing position. What Sahil just showed us. And it's named after Royal H. Burpee, who was an American psychologist. And it was first used as a burpee test in which a series of burpees are executed in rapid succession, designed to measure the agility and coordination of that person. So yes, this has come from the US, but a very interesting and a very efficient form of exercise. A few burpees a day, and that can actually be your exercise routine.
Yes, sir, absolutely. This is one of the great movements for the complete entire body. And so these exercises doesn't require any weights, any equipment. You can just do it on the floor as well. And just adding and doing this daily for, you can do all the exercises for 2 to 3 rounds, doing 8 to 12 reps per exercise. This can be easily done in, 30 minutes to 45 minutes, which is a great workout at home. And then if we just buy a pair of dumbbells, for example, we can just do with the dumbbells as well. We can add dumbbells in these exercises only. So it's a great way to start, your fitness journey. And then, of course, there are multiple options to go to a gym, to go to a fitness center, studio as well.
A small tip here, if you are someone who doesn't get motivated easily, I think it's great to have firm partners or groups. You can actually challenge yourself and others in the group that let's do so many burpees a day, and you can actually increase based on each other's performance, and you can increase them per day and increase your fitness level as well. Another good challenge is to do the plank challenge as well. अगेन फायदा तो हो ही रहा है आपको, प्लस आप एक दूसरे को भी प्रोत्साहित कर सकते हैं.
Absolutely.
Go
And
ahead,
now I
Sahil.
think we have a lot of communities, a lot of T1s in every city. They can just form a group, start going for runs, start going for small activities, work out basic things together. It is a very good, because anyways you are in the community talking to each other. It's also important and a good way to start and help each other as well.
Absolutely.
So these were the exercises, Dr. Purvi, I wanted to show, which we can do at home. And of course, again, all these things will only work when we actually manage our blood sugar levels during this workout. If we are not managing our blood sugar levels, then of course you will end up in a lot of fluctuations. You won't be able to perform it as well, because you won't have energy. So imagine if you are in a hypo and I ask you to do all these exercises, you can't do. So it's very important to do exercise efficiently, which can only be done if you monitor. And then when you have monitored, you understand the pattern, then you go to your doctor and your trainer, tell them this is what you want to do, and they will help you in creating a plan as well.
Very important information shared, Sahil. I also want to urge everyone living with type 1 diabetes that don't just take a workout regimen, just printed off the internet. Go to definitely a qualified person with the right expertise to guide you, because without the right expertise, you can actually do more harm than good while exercising. So, few of the things that Sahil showed today, they were, I think, invaluable, because the stretches that you can do just by yourself anywhere at work or at home, and also the free hand exercise that he showed for the back, the core, the legs, the big muscle groups of the body. I think they were very, very invaluable and can be easily adapted to one's regimen. But definitely consulting your doctor before that and discussing that this is what I plan to do, and engaging probably a expert and also experienced, well qualified expert in exercise to help you or train you or guide you is very, very important. So don't fear it, but take the necessary precautions and then adapt it in your regular lifestyle, because exercise is the way to go. It not only motivates you, it keeps you fit and fine, helps in blood sugar control, prevents the blood sugar variation as well, and just increases your confidence and is a natural antidepressant. Yes, Sahil,
Absolutely.
what else do you want to share with our audience today?
I think this was it. The last point that I want to share is that start slowly. Also, when you will start and do it on a regular basis, like you said, over a period of time, you will start seeing a lot of improvement in your insulin sensitivity. You will see a lot of changes in your mood. There are uncountable benefits of exercising that you will only see when you start doing it regularly. So don't feel that you're doing it only for 10 minutes or 15 minutes in this start, but make a routine that will eventually help you build strength, stamina in the longer run, and then you can always level up the levels from 15 minutes to 30 minutes to an hour. I started the same way. I train now because 7-8 years back I started with, I remember when I got diagnosed in 2011. So after a year, I used to do only 10 to 20 push-ups every day. That was my training routine. That's it. Which eventually, hello.
Hello, we can hear you, Sal. Go ahead. Yeah, Sahil, go
We got
ahead.
disconnected in between.
No. Yeah, we did
Yeah.
lose you. You
No, I
were
was just
saying.
saying that I started with doing 10 to 20 push-ups a day 10 years back. And slowly I learned new things, I improved. And now for the last 4 or 5 years, I'm doing on regular basis for a good amount of time. So it takes some time as well. Don't feel that even after just after a month or 2 months that you are not seeing the changes or your sugars are not managed. It will take some time as well and your understanding as well. So that is my last point, that give it some time and learn things, and from your doctor, from your fitness coaches, from people around you. But it is also important to follow the right sciences, because in fitness, in nutrition, there are a lot of myths as well. So follow the right sciences that will help you manage your exercise with type 1 diabetes.
So, Sahil, I'm curious, in all the people that you have trained and even yourself, how many of you experienced a low sugar episode during the exercise session?
Okay. During, so what I so before I start training anyone, specifically in fitness, I do a theory session with them. So it is not, it doesn't start with exercising or in the gym. It starts with getting the basics right. So I haven't really felt with the people I'm training, because before this session only, I explain them what things to do. But when people are running, when people are doing normal activities, there are chances that it will drop drastically. But also, if you talk about my experiences, 7, 8 years back, when I didn't knew anything about diabetes and fitness, and I used to go to the gym, I have felt I went into hypo a lot of times, and that to like 260, 70, because I didn't knew how to manage it. But now, over the last few years, I have learned all those things, and that's how I have managed.
Very well said. I think education is the key. So, all those with diabetes, whether it's type 2 or type 1, I think learning more about diabetes and, of course, learning more about yourself and your response to everything that goes around you is very, very important in terms of the blood sugar variation. So,
Yeah.
yes, Sahil, any final message that you have for our audience today?
Just start slow, but start now, because that will eventually help you build stamina and strength for the longer run, and help you manage your condition also.
Great. So start slow but stay strong. And I think we had a wonderful, wonderful session with Sahil Madan today. And Sahil, thank you for. I know you've been extremely busy traveling across the country and outside, not only for work but also for helping other type 1 diabetes patients also. But so thank you for doing all that you do, and thank you for being here today. I think you definitely played a big role, an important one, in making other people with type 1 diabetes feel more comfortable that they can also attempt and they can plan a good session for themselves and then adapt it into their regular lifestyle. So thank you for sharing your experience as well as for demonstrating all the easy plus the doable exercises at home itself. Managing exercising at home with type 1 diabetes, it was truly well demonstrated today, so thank you again for that. And on behalf of our president, Dr. Brij Makkar sir, our secretary, Dr. Sanjay Agarwal sir, and the entire executive committee, as well as the RSSDI Diabetes Bytes team, I thank you again for your efforts and your time.